about it. Let's finish what we started. Don't wanna cry about it. Let's finish what we started.
Show up at your door in the morning, said that it wasn't planned when you hurt me. We do it all again, that's so
broken home. I gave you all the bricks that I own and know I'm letting go.
Welcome to the new world of Max Indica. Introducing May.
South-facing windows.
A new way to imagine your space. LG Wash Tower.
I fell where my demons dwell. My own little nightmare, I call it hell. Oh well, it's time to get back up. Climbing and climbing, I'm done with this ride, is what I tell myself, so I could feel something else. Yeah, I guess I had my bad days, but it doesn't mean I lost my style. Darling, where were you when my heart was on the ground? I thought time would prove that you would stick around. I guess time stood still, a king without his crown. Now I'm breaking, you're faking, girl. You never made a sound. I'm tired of the pain. Go away. I'm tired of yesterday.
Every time we say goodbye, they all see that it's a lie. 'Cause we always give it one last try. Yeah, you've watched me break 1,000 times. Now I'm all alone, 'cause you never show. You say you will, but then you don't. That's how it goes. Don't wanna know. I'm turning off my mind so I get by. I just wanna be happy, happy tonight. Happier tonight. Happier tonight. Can't be waiting for you in the morning. I'ma leave without giving a warning. I'ma leave without giving a. But every time we say goodbye, We all know that it's a lie. Now I'm all alone, 'cause you never show. You say you will, but then you don't. Let's all let go. Don't wanna know. I'm turning off my mind so I get by. I just wanna be happy, happy tonight. Happier tonight. I'll be waiting for you in the morning. Don't leave without giving a warning. Don't leave without giving a as we turn, say goodbye. We all know that it's a lie. I just wanna be happy.
Two souls colliding. We shared the pieces of ourselves. It's perfect timing now. We fueled the flames, but we're still learning to trust, learning to trust. It's never enough, never enough. Burning me up, burning me up. Don't fight the fire. Too much, too fast to burn us out. We walk the wire, love. Don't make Welcome everybody, good evening. We are here in Zolder, as always, for our Master League in FRL. Tonight we are in Zolder, as I said, in the Belgian racetrack. And honestly, I think the veterans of these channels already know. But this is actually my favorite racetrack and I'm not going to joke about it, in the entire world. Apologies for being slightly late on schedule, but the server had to be restarted quite late for a problem with the entry list, and so this is why we were slightly late to the start of the qualifying session. But this means that our 22 drivers are going to be ready for the coming session, as I think the first one on track that is going to set a lap time is going to be the 186 Ford here, going over the chicane which is quite difficult to manage to get it right, since he's slightly, well, there is a massive curve in the middle, so actually helps you understand the situation. Is completely different from the second chicane, which is way flat, or rather it's the literal opposite to the first. The first one, the chicane in the middle, is practically with a bump, as the curb acts as a bump in an effective way, literally letting your car jump, whilst the second chicane is literally opposite, because it has a depression in the middle where you can actually have to throw your car in, because it helps your way for rotation, but not too much, otherwise you cut, and you have to be ready to the snap oversteer, which will inevitably happen sometime. You have to keep it on, I will say, rails, in the best way you can. Obviously, let me see if everything is ongoing, because sometimes I have to remember that YouTube is so nice that let me see things which are not correct. Okay. Okay. Unfortunately, I just have a single monitor, so it's slightly difficult for me to be ready. Obviously, the first lap I didn't pay much attention, but there is a good reason. The track is so short that the first lap is basically just a heating lap for the tires. It's
I will say completely useless. Only 1 minute and 28 seconds, and one of the shortest tracks in the calendar, in the entire game. Whilst in the calendar, I think it is the shortest, thinking about it. But as I was saying, it's also very different from Red Bull Ring, where you have 3 turns and only straights. Hence, your tires can be ready already at the first lap. Here there are many corners, so you actually have to start your laps with cold tires, and after a while you get effective hit on them. Forbes went in pole, was Hill. One in screen was the one most bounded to be on pole with a 28.160. Lammers goes second, quickest, with a 8.2, and then an 8.2 follows behind. So in terms of quali lap, I'm expecting some 7.3, 7.4 in qualifying, even because this is okay, this is effectively a sort of preparation in this round for the upcoming endurance round in Zolder. It's going to be the 10 hours of Zolder, in which I will also be one of the drivers. And with me, many others here will be a driver. I suppose we will have Ek, Garbi, Zagdal, Senatore. You already saw him around. I suppose also Velman will be one of them. Kasitarash, I think Forbes was training with me in the same lobby, so I think even for him it's going to be a participation. Many of this calendar, many of this grid will be on the next round of the endurance round here in Zolder. And so this actually helps those drivers that are going to race next weekend. Not this one here. Hence why I think there is going to be a 7.5 in qualifying as the overall best, but I can expect even soon 7.0 if all goes well. Curtin here, not cutting completely the first chicane, the first part of the chicane, but he goes quicker. He sets a 28.4, only enough for 4th place. Please remember that since this track is so short, actually having a 10th is a lot. As you can see here, a single 2 milliseconds difference gives you an entire position, as Whitburn in the number 5 is oddly in 2nd place. Usually he struggles to get in front, but now he is in 2nd place even, and only 1/10.5 away from Hill, who is currently, oh, I think it was, yeah, he was probably going to try a lap, which then became a nil lap to test for the race. This pit entry is very difficult to get right. The Mustang this time around is expectedly having some trouble compared to the usual. Only 6th and 7th for Firth and Jordan. Firth, which in the last round in the Paul Ricard also had a win. But Mustang here has to struggle since this track has only two actually straight lines, but none of which gives you speed. The top speed in this track is, as a matter of fact, very little, 235. Surprisingly, being held by a Mustang, but it's only 245. In 3 minutes also there will be the Pro class going on the racetrack, as I'm seeing some struggles by my race control application, since I'm seeing odd intervals. I will not question them. Unfortunately, Dorazov is going to be in a non-valid lap. That's why you saw his lap time, the last one, being quicker than his best. And yet, not being registered. Completely different for Lammers, who is not only going to improve his own time, but he is also going to improve his own position by 2. As a matter of fact, he goes in pole position, 27.987, the first one to go below the 28 mark. That's why I think that 7.5 will be completely possible, but even at 7.0 is a valid opportunity. This time around the silver grid will be shorter than the pro grid, with 10 drivers for the silver and 13 for the pro class. And starting from not yet, in 10 seconds it will be the last chance to cross the line and to get into your final flying lap. So now I'm not seeing. Okay, Firth is going to the pits, so he will be at best 7th in class. Jordan went in 4th and then scored another improvement, but it will be unfortunately be in a non-valid lap time, 28.250. It wouldn't be. It would have been enough for third. Unfortunately, Lammers went even faster, 7.902. Unfortunately, Jordan will start from 4th. He could have been 3rd. As Lammers went off track, so even for him, it is over. He goes over the line and sets on for his final flying lap. Fergus does the same. He completes his own lap time in 5th place. He goes for nearly 5 tenths away from pole in a 28.3. And everyone is... Oh, Karner, unfortunately, he was improving, but he will have to abort his lap, and he will be last in class, unfortunately. As the pro class starts to exit the pit lane. As it stands, Whitburn still has a chance to improve himself and to get back to 2nd place. Although there is a 10th and a half on which he could be on it now. He just gained a 10th on the 2nd chicane. And there are still a couple of corners remaining, one hairpin here and the final chicane. Final chicane which has to be, as the 2nd one, practically taken over. It has to be taken over by your car in a complete manner over the curbs. It goes well, but not enough, and it's going to be 3rd place only for Whitburn and not 2nd, although he'll also improved his own lap, so even a 10th and a half wouldn't have been enough. So this was your silver qualifying session. It's going to be... Oh, Brown, unfortunately, wasn't able to score a single lap, so he will start in last place. So apologies on Karner, he will start 2nd to last. Thompson here is going to be the first one to set a lap time. So this was a silent lap of Zolder with Bailey Thompson for 2S Community. Whitburn already goes faster, 57.5. Nergard for now only 5th. And Sedlowski will have an hard time this time, 13th for now. Obviously the first, as I said earlier, the first lap is not really the effective lap. It really is helpful if you just want to have a sort of benchmark for your own lap. At least you have one. It's always the same rule. It's better to have a lap than not have one at all. So even if you do a slow lap, it's okay. And then you can push. Whitburn for now is pushing 27 point... a low 27 could be in the air in... in upcoming lap in his Honda 620. It's at 27.3 for Whitburn. Vaz goes for a 27.1. A very low 27. And I suppose also very difficult to beat. Unless Whitburn completely writes off my statement. Zalowski for now 7th. Just behind Bellman, who set a very good lap in his first attempt. And then in second he invalidated his lap, so he will go for a third one. Senatore goes in 7th in his BMW 112. In his livery, which now has a special value because the OQ by Oman Racing in the latest Monza round for the GT World Challenge Endurance was literally P44 at the first lap, and at the end not only it won, but it was officially the first bronze lineup to win a round in GT World Challenge history, in the entirety of the GT World Challenge Europe history. So now this livery is completely different from earlier in terms of significance. The number 40 in real life, as the 112 goes back into the pits in its 8th place momentarily. Sadlowski is improving, and so this means the Senatore will be jumped. Sadlowski goes in 6th place. So although he's on a Mustang, he is working his way up the ladder. Whitburn apparently can do very well the first sector compared to early on. But at 27.1, I'll be honest, that is difficult to match. It's very difficult to match. Maybe not the perfect lap, but certainly a very good one. Oh, this was a huge curb jump, and in fact I think he lost everything. He was at 10th, below himself. So you can see from this perspective, he brakes slightly too late, cuts a bit too much, and jumps the curb. And then goes for a red lap 2, so every effort goes into flames. Zakdal is in 4th now, in a Ferrari 51. Sadlowski is still improving. Although I think there is a car in front which could hurt his lap. It is the Mustang number 40, number 221, apologies, who is just in front, barely enough to keep the lap valid for the German driver, as he goes in 7th place, 6 tenths away from pole. Nopek goes in 7th now, in number 48, 6 tenths flat the lead. Nargard proceeds to go in the first chicane. Oh, a bit aggressive at the beginning of it. Since there is so little time between the first and second chicane, actually cutting it, although makes you have a slower exit, it's completely justified because you don't have time to lose the time. As the distance between the two chicanes is so little. So you actually have a net gain by cutting the chicane rather than exiting it quickly. And Nargard is definitely pushing the car to its limits and sets a 27.3. She's going to be second place. Currently 1-2 for RTO Racing Team. But Whitburn here is definitely on the window, lurking for it because he wants the 26. But you can see the Ford struggling a bit, mainly because the Ford 221 is only 15th, Jordan is 14th, Nopek and Sadlowski is 7th and 8th. They can't really do much better than that, as it stands. It's really struggling, this Mustang. And again, Whitburn, another time he had a lap, and another time he had to basically blow it up. And so he goes for his last attempt. Oh, wait, no, there are 2 remaining. Once more, he is 2.5 tenths below himself, which is the same script that has been in the last laps, but always seems to struggle to complete it. Assetto went in 10th place from, I think, 12th? Can't really remember where he was. Velman, unfortunately, after the first lap, wasn't able to improve any better than that. Vats is into the pits, so this is going to be the lap to beat, officially. Nargard 1, 2, okay, 10th, yeah, 2 times away from Vats, from himself momentarily, and then another 2 from Vats. I was looking in his live net gain, or rather net loss. Definitely that's not helping him. Maybe he can do it in time. He has 14 seconds. I am not sure, but maybe, and just maybe, he's barely going to go into the pits. Never mind. So Whitburn again, last attempt, and he goes into the gravel, and that's it for Whitburn. He had the car, he had the setup to put it in pole, but he will just be in third. Ek and Nopek both with not valid lap time. Zagdal still can improve. He just needs 32 milliseconds to get a position. Assetto goes in 6th. 2 milliseconds better than Zagdal. So now the Swedish driver has to improve himself, but also Garbi is doing so in the Ford Mustang. Although, you know him 2.5 times, as Kasitrash goes in 14th, with Bellman that went in 13th at the end. He improved himself, but just barely. Currently it's going to be Zagdal the first one to cross, and then it's going to be the Ford behind. The only 2 cars on track at the moment, and also improving. So it's going to be an improvement for Zagdal. He is going to be at least 5th. He's going to be in 4th place. 3 times away from pole. And Garby here with a very nice improvement. He goes slightly slow in the final chicane, possibly to avoid losing all the gap he had, but unfortunately that means he loses the chance to be further up the grid. He slowed down too much and now he's going to be in 10th place at the beginning of the race. With Brown and Jones that ultimately didn't set a single lap time in their class. Okay, I was just setting everything for the usual because it's useless to say it every time, but unfortunately the game resets everything every time the session gets forwarded. But anyway, this is your current grid for tonight. It's going to be Vats and Nergard, 1-2 for RTO at the start of the race. Then it's going to be Whitburn and Zagdal, the Ferrari 351, then Eck and Nopek in 6th place, the Ford Mustang, the first of the Ford Mustangs, in 6th. The next one is going to be 9th. Senator and Thompson, then Sedlowski being followed by Garby, with Lammers pole position in Superclass and Hill following in the 555. Velman and Cassitrash are in 14th and 14th, Whitburn and Jordan are in 8th row. Then Forbes and Curtin, Firth, Sims and Dorsov in the Aston Martin 444, with the McLaren of Karner and Brown following, with the 911, the old version of the 911, the very old version, the first version of the Porsche 911 in last place. Bold choice by Jones, I guess. So in 30 seconds we will go along in our Zolder racetrack with the... Okay, I've got some time, I can do it. Maybe not, okay. Foot ahead, but maybe slightly too far away. Or maybe I can do it while approaching Canal Walk. You can see some odd markers on the grid. Those are also for motorbikes, since you will never guess it. Motorbikes also race here. But this is mostly made for them, to be fair. So here we go. In turn 1, Erster links. Usually brake here on the sign on the right, red and white, over the curb. You approach as much as you can the gravel. Then you brake just before the Pirelli sign on the right to get into Sarin box. Long right hander just alongside the wind turbines into Canal box. Canal box, guess why? Oh look, there is a canal. And then into Lucien Bianchi box. Even here you basically have to go in third for a brief moment and back in fourth on the curb on the left, but not too much, otherwise you get in the gravel and you get completely demolished in one of the few points where you can make an overtake in a straight line under Yokohama Bridge, and then you brake roughly here to get over the curbs as much as you can, but not too much, otherwise you can lose grip with your car and end up sideways or even worse. Under the bridge once again. This was a clean chicane. We now turn 6, but And Gilles Villeneuve chicane, turn 7. Because yes, the entire chicane is a single turn apparently. Over the curbs, over the curb, over the curb here. You upshifting further to maintain some speed, but also avoid slipping. For Talam and Bocht in 8th. And then into the hairpin, which is Boulderberg spelled Bocht. I'm not joking, this is the name. I will never repeat it again. This is going to be turn 9 for the coming race. And then Jochen Rinbocht, which is this chicane, 4 chicanes in this racetrack. We approach the third one. And then it's the final one, Jackie X-Bocht. Guess who is referring to? Just prior to the pit lane, which practically lets you jump the entire chicane and let you go as fast as you can over the final finish start line, or start and finish line rather. If we put the race, otherwise I can't see anything. It's going to be the start of the race for us, 60 minutes in the Zolder racetrack. And green light, and away we go with the two BMW maintaining a perfectly balanced start. I can see the BMW of Heck going side by side with the Ford Mustang. As there is Whitburn going on inside of Vats apparently. Jumping. The BMW who started on pole are ready from the start. Whitburn and Zachtal both jumping. Oh, there is a contact there, and Heck goes off with a contact with, I think it was Nopek. In fact, it was Nopek, and then it's going to be gravel for him, and then he loses 1, 2, 3, 4 position, maybe because the McLaren now in pole position, well, now in the lead of the silver classes, tries an overtake on the Mustang, which can't happen. The Bentley goes over the curb, nearly yeeting itself into the distance. Contact between the two cars, but the McLaren remains in the lead of his own class momentarily as the Bentley tries again into the inside. Contact between the two. The McLaren has to cut slightly the chicane. More contact, and then the Bentley has to stay behind the Meanwhile, Heck in 12th place goes into the inside, and that's... Oh, there is a cut-off! Oh, that's Thompson. Huh? Thompson is off. Was there a contact? Oh, I think he just lost the rear. Yes, you can see. Oh, there was a contact actually with the BMW of Senatore. Making contact with the McLaren. So now Heck is in 11th place, and I can see Jordan trying the attack on Velman. On the inside he remains, but I think the Ford will have the better chance here. Meanwhile in the front, Whitburn still in front. So this train will go on for the entirety of the race. I hope so. Sadlowski very close to the car, not only close, but he tries the outside on the other Mustang, which is Garby now in 7th place. As the Senatore started to gap both Garby but also Nopek in front of him. As you can see, Heck behind who goes for the move on the Bentley driver. But no move happens. It's very difficult to make a pass here. Flashing the lights, possibly asking as kindly as he can to be the one overtaking the Bentley. For now it remains a nicely asked proposal, but I think shortly will become an enforcement. As Whitburn prepares the overtake on the outside, he goes with the BMW defending inside, goes over the curb a bit too hard, and by doing so slowing down the car behind, which is Whitburn, and then you can see what's going on inside. That's going to be the inside on turn 1, and the BMW slightly taps, maybe? No, it doesn't. It doesn't tap the Ferrari on the outside. He actually gets overtaken on the outside by the Mustang of Nopek. If that goes well, that's going to be a marvelous attempt and an incredible overtake for the Mustang, but I think Vats has the upper hand there. He remains on the inside. He takes back the position for himself in 4th, closes the door already into the first chicane, and Senatore now closed the gap that he had. It was more than a second, and now he's just tenths away from Nopek in the 48. Sedlowski goes for the overtake on Garby. Oh, that was a nice overtake there. You can have a better look here. Exiting way better from the first chicane. And then throwing the car on the inside with Garby hoping for a cutback, but that doesn't happen since the German covered well the inside. You can see behind, it was Eck already behind Hill after getting the overtake done on the Bentley in P2 in class. As Hill gets the position done on Garby. Momentarily, oh, there is a contact between the two cars, and that's going to be Eck overtaking the two of them. With the McLaren still on the outside, still some contact very likely, and that's going to be an issue in his own classes. The Bentley is going to follow the McLaren, and then is going to follow the Mustang, and then behind is Cassette Rush going on inside of Hill, who now lost the lead in his own class. The 555 is now in 11th place, with Lammers in 10th. With Garby, who made a good job for Lammers to help him out on reaching a position. It was Watts now trying the position on Zagdal. It's clear that Watts has more pace, but unfortunately he lost it all on the beginning of the race. We can have a look at it just now. So this is what happened. You can see on the inside he goes, but he overshoots the racing line and loses 2 places from his start position, and then just afterwards it was Zagdal following. He goes for the inside. It's a double bomb on the inside for Whitburn, and luckily with no consequences. But Nopek goes on the inside. Oh, there is a freeway battle for position. And Senator is now in 4th place, with Nopek following and losing back the position on Watts. And Sedlowski is now bound to try and overtake, but Watts is still there on the outside, still battling with Nopek, which gives the chance to Sedlowski to go first on the inside, then the outside, switching place and switching ideas, but again switchback move on Nopek, and now the 1-2 has the inside and the position number 6, and he is also the fastest car on the racetrack so far. So this is good news for the Mustang with yellow, black and white colors. As Nopek remains behind in the chicane. We can have a look back at what happened there, I think. Not completely sure, it was these. Oh yes, it was these. You can see Nopek. Oh, there was a contact actually between 2 cars. That's what happened there. There was a contact between Watts and Nopek, which gave the position to Senatore, effectively. And Sedlowski also gained massively from this situation. So this is what exactly happened among the cars. I will always say it, Zolder is a nice venue, and has to be on every single calendar in the world. Honest opinion. And objectively true. Since there was some confidence in Whitburn there, but he had to face the reality and address the fact that the BMW ahead of him was simply there. Because in Zolder, to make an overtake, you have to plan it like weeks before, to be fair. It's very hard to make one. It's basically Zandvoort, but, well, better. in that regard. This just gives an opportunity to the whole train being led by Senatore behind in fourth to get back to the lead pack, which is now being composed not only by the two here on screen, but also Zakdal behind now gained back the pace on the duo. Nerga now with the fastest lap of the race so far, 27.9. Behind is at 28.8. Oh, Ek goes for a 27.8. And also reached back the train after the beginning. Well, the mistake at the beginning, simply put, which is this one here. So this is what exactly happened, and again it was Nopek being involved in this little contact between the two, which gave the chance to everybody else to jump in front of him. And then there was another mistake, which was this one here, with the number 37, so the McLaren alongside him, and there you can see going on the gravel, losing 1, 2, 3, and then it was shortly going to be 4 and 5 positions being lost. That's a cut for Ek. As now Zakdal is sometimes behind the duo. Senatore is now 2 seconds behind the trio, effectively. But I think this time, this is the time for the British driver to... Actually no, he doesn't overtake. He remains behind. It's quite clear that the cars that had the better pace are not in the front of the entire grid. I'm talking about Whitburn, Watts, likely Ek, all of whom are in the middle of the grid. So you can see Zakdal completely recovered the gap that he had. He gained an entire half second in the last lap. Now Whitburn is going to possibly try the pass on the hairpin, but again the Honda can't make it up. It remains behind the 127, but this just gives more chances to Zakdal behind to maybe try something. I mean, effectively, Whitburn could lose in any overtaking situation, while Zakdal doesn't really have anything to lose. He can try whatever he wants, since he has a gap of 1.9 seconds from the car behind, which now just gained 4 times. So effectively Zakdal could try something on the edge of the possible outcomes, and yet come out on top, or at the very least tied. It's clear that Senatore is slowing down massively the car behind. Watts is likely close to have a panic attack after the starting on pole. He is now in 5th place, as Jordan is now... Oh, Curtin lost 2 places in a single moment. Was it a... Oh, sorry. Was it something from behind? No, I think it was just a... Oh, yes, he just lost the rear there, which put him in 16th place and 15th class. As now the trio in front, being composed by the 127, the 620 and the 331, is starting to gap Senatore, which is not really good news for Vaz, who at this point is simply begging to have a chance. As Zagdal now in side by side with Whitburn, there is a possible chance for it to go the other way around, with Zagdal going on outside of the chicane. Oh, there is contact! Oh, they are both off! Into the gravel they go! And this is Senatore in second place! All of a sudden, that's massive in terms of strategy and in terms of leaderboard for the two of them. Now in 10th and I think 8th place. Yes, it is 8th place for Whitburn. Completely opposite from what it was. So now strategy changes. I was speaking about strategy because it was quite clear that Whitburn would have tried the... very likely. Would have tried the... overcut on the car in front. And now it goes completely the other way around. You can see back what happened from another point of view. So this was... the beginning of it all. Into the chicane they go. And then Zagdal maybe a bit too pretentious, closed the door early, and both of them went into the gravel, leaving the positions to the other two BMWs. So now it's BMW 123, RTO 12, and all of a sudden Sedlowski's in 4th. And I'll be honest, I wouldn't have put 5 euros on a Mustang in the top 5. And now, Senatore could help Sedlowski to a degree where he could see the podium. So Vaz has to choose wisely, as Whitburn now passes Garby's Ford. Oh, you can see the reason there. Completely jumping off the chicane and effectively gifting the place on Whitburn. As not here. It's very interesting. So obviously, clearly some mistakes happened here to the 1-2-2. That's I'm looking at Egg behind. The BMW is currently the quickest car on track. 28.5 was the last lap, but 27.8 was the best lap for Eck. As Whitburn goes for the fastest lap of them all, 27.8 even for him. 15 milliseconds quicker than Eck. But now Whitburn has clean air and very likely no damage, except the tires. Zagdal still having difficulties from recovering the places. He was the one being hurt the most between the two, as he was put in the mix of the silver class battle. That's a bit of a cut, a justifiable cut, certainly, but that just gives some help to Lammers, who is now trying the inside on Zagdal and succeed in doing so. Ooh, that's good battle for Lammers. But in terms of pro class, it's the absolute hell for the Swedish driver, who is now in 10th place, 4 seconds away from Garby, and trying as best as he can to pass the Bentley, who, as you can clearly see, is not really giving up the place. And not only that, now it's going to be Lammers and the Hill in front of him, since you can see the McLaren goes on the inside, contact between the two, and some lost track for the Ferrari, whilst Veldman passes Kasitarash in 12th place. But Zagdal now again battling with Hill. On the inside he goes, more contact between the two, and that's going to be another position being lost by Zagdal. With Veldman on the outside he goes, and that's going to be another place, but this time it's a pro class place with Kasitarash behind, who is also very interested in position, being held by Veldman, with Kasitarash also trying on his own teammate. That's 4th position in class as Veldman goes on the gravel. Kasitarash passes departure number 29, and the next objective for 789 is going to be his own teammate who was once in 3rd place, so completely different situation from 10 minutes ago where he was battling for the win. Now he's battling to stay in the top 10. Meanwhile in front, back for the two drivers in the BMW, 112 and 126. At this point, that is luckily starting to be nervous about it. He goes on the inside, breaks later, but yet can't make anything out of that since the OQ levered car did a very good job defending. That was very much on the limits, defending outside and unpurposely giving actually a pump draft to the car in front, and that's a crash behind between the 186 oh, that was 4th and the Whitburn. Oh, you can see something happened there, and Whitburn was quite well in the leaderboard. I want to have a better look at this. So it was behind the Dorosov. Oh, that's very odd how it happened. But the 6 to 0, wait. The 6 to 0 is off. The 6 to 0 is not in the lobby anymore. I don't know what happened. I have no clue where... I can't even know. Maybe I have a chance here. So you can see Whitburn behind. This is the only view I have of Whitburn. I wonder if it was a disconnection. Yeah, it was a disconnection. It was clear a disconnection, unfortunately for Whitburn. So now, oh, that's Jordan losing the place on both Curtin and Sims. Very nice fight there between Curtin and Jordan, which unfortunately sees Jordan going on the gravel and getting overtaken by both Curtin and Sims for 14th and 15th place overall. So now Nopek is very close to the car head. Paul Sedlowski in 4th place, 2 seconds away from the podium. Still being held tight by Senatore. Oh, you both disconnected at the same time? Huh? Oh no, it was a... Oh no. I think your connection... Wait, do you live in the same house? Because I know you are dead and son. But do you live in the same house? Because if so, I have bad news for you. As Nopek goes on inside, that's Sedlowski getting overtaken by the golden Ford. On the inside, the switchback move for Sedlowski. That goes... Oh, little contact between the two. As Sedlowski goes back in front of Nopek. Oh! And Sedlowski is off into the gravel. Is it a wall contact? Yes, it is a wall contact for the German driver, who is now getting overtaken by Garby 2. We can have a better look at it from the inside camera. You can see going over the first curb and then the second a bit too hard and losing the rear altogether, and into the barriers he goes. With then Garby overtaking easily the German driver. You see, that chicane is a double-edged sword. It gives you massive advantage if you get it right, but if you go slightly deeper, well, that's game over for you. And it's not even an exaggeration. Oh, different house. Oh, okay. It was very unfortunate then. So number 5 not only crashed with Furf, but also disconnected with his counterpart in the Pro class, getting disconnected at the same time. So now the battle is effectively to get a 1-2 for RTO, as I think those 4 seconds are difficult to recover for Dan Vats. As Ek goes into the pits, the first one to jump the gun, 35 minutes to go, he gets into the pit limiter just in time. And I think, oh, it's going to be difficult because I think both Hill and the Ferrari 331 went into the pits there for the undercut. So Vatsa has to choose wisely. He either undercuts completely or goes for the overcut. In both scenarios, he basically has to choose freely in a sort of way, because either way he has 4 seconds of gap to the car in front and the car behind. So ultimately the only car he has to effectively question on is the car that he has in front of him, which gives him some free choice. Here battling for position with Cassitrash, and Forbes behind now in second place momentarily after he went into the pits. Snopek went into the pits just now. I suppose even Jordan is now in the pit lane. Oh, there's a Ferrari there. Which Ferrari is it? Wait, it's Zagdal. It is Zagdal! Oh, he crashed on his own! Oh, that's tremendous. On the chicane. Now we're getting lapped 2. And sure enough, that's going to hurt massively his chances to get back from the incident that he had in the chicane with Whitburn. As Vats jumps into the pits, he chooses the undercut. So Senatore will be kind of obliged to throw himself in the pit lane, or he will likely lose the place. So yeah, there is the overtake between Cassitrash and Velman for 7th place. with Cassitation inside, he remains. As Bellman has to circumnavigate the Ferrari driver. And outside he tries. Still side by side. Oh, there is little contact between the two. But into Lucien Bianchi walked. It's the Ferrari in front of Bellman, who went for some tire heating for some reasons. Oh, that's well done, nearly losing the rear there. Oh, there is massive contact with the wall! Oh, huge incident for Bellman there. That was massive. To be seen from the outside, you can see. Going slightly on the grass and hitting the wall. Oh, that's not going to be nice for the wrists. As both Garby and Curtin are into the pits. As I honestly think he really hurted his wrists since he's not in the race anymore. It was very, very hard on the wall, I'll be honest. Santore decided to go for the overcut. Oddly enough. Novats has clean air in front of him. And Orzov is 38 seconds ahead. And Novak just exits the pit lane in front of Eck in 8th and 9th. Slightly on the gravel for driver. Novak gets a drive-through for exceeding track limits. Just now, he went one too many times off the road, and that's going to be a drive-through already after 32 minutes. So Eck automatically gets a position on the Mustang. Mustang which will have its race demolished at this point. With all the cars that went into the pits, Nergard, except Nizazov, Nergard goes back in the racetrack to be in pole, but more importantly, Senatore goes back on the racetrack to be just in front of Vats. But with cold tires. So Vats has to be very quick. He needs to throw the car now. I don't think there is another chance for Vats to make the place. Oh, he does well there. Why are my frames dropping all of a sudden? I don't know. For a brief moment my frames were plummeting. But Senatore remains ahead. Which is the worst possible scenario for Vats. Even because after the undercut, he effectively had the clean air. Something in the pit lane must have given the... No mistakes. So no mistakes for Vats. I suppose the only thing that changed was the pit entry being executed perfectly by the Italian driver compared to the British driver. Diciamo leaves little room for Vats to make a move. A little reminder that he was in pole position, and that if it wasn't for, well, obviously chain of events, because it was initially Nopek who made a contact with Vats, and that's why he was in 5th, but it was also the turn 1 lunge that put him in 3rd in the first place, in 4th rather, but now he's in 3rd thanks to, well, literally thanks to Zakdal. So all of this is a chain reaction, with his car now in 3rd place, as Ndozov was the last one to still be out on track, with 24 minutes to go. Little update from the Silver Class 2. Hill is now in 7th place, which means leader in his class, with Lammers and Forbes following behind. And Jordan is a second car, ironically just in front of Nopek, to get a drive-through for exceeding track limits. With 20 minutes to go, it's very easy here to get a drive-through for track limits, especially in the second chicane. And Sedlovsky too gets the penalty after going wide in the third, rather in the fourth chicane. So drive-through for Sedlovsky too. So now 3 cars already with drive-throughs for exceeding track limits. Odd enough in Jack Xbox for Sedlovsky. As Jordan executes his drive-through instantly, Sedlovsky will likely do it in this lap, as Senatore and Vaz are still battling there for position. You can see how much Vaz closes the gap there. But yet, unless he goes for the dive bomb. Oh, there was some contact there. Little contact between the 2 cars. Can have a better look here. This is just a signal for Senatore to move away. Not really because of the position per se, but because of this. Eck is closing the gap every single lap. Now he has gained 7.5 times. Nearly 8 on the duo. Vaz is clearly getting nervous there. Also 6.5 seconds away from his teammate. Oh, this is the moment! This is the moment for what? Oh, contact! That's not correct in my mind for the Italian who blatantly pushed Vaz off the racing line. That's a complete cut, and again with advantage for Senatore to completely cutting the chicane and gaining a second because of that, effectively trading a track limit violation for a position. We can have another look at it once more from... Yeah, you can see this is a bit too much. Senatore effectively, you can see here, going way too wide for effectively no reason. I suspect that could maybe being brought in court is one way to say it, but certainly I don't think Vaz will be any happy with the situation like that. And drive through for Dan Vaz for exceeding track limits, so not only everything that happened until now, but also track limit for exceeding track limit. Drive through for exceeding track limits. So Vaz will have to go through the pits as Nopek did, as Sedlovsky did, as Jordan did, and now he'll be the fourth car who have the same fate. We are here with Nopek, Sims and Dorzov battling each other for position number 12. So Nowak is in third place all of a sudden. So Vaz, who's starting in pole, is now in 10th place overall. Maybe even 11th. Yes, it is 11th because Curtin is in front of him. A half second. As you can see here. So 11th place only for Vaz at the moment. As this battle for position in silver class unfolds, with Nopek being the third wheel. And now in a 14th place after the overtake on Sims. And a very nice run there to get in front of Dorzov in his Mustang. The golden livery, but the run wasn't enough there, so he still remains behind Dorzov in the 444 with a change of course, now with a blue and lime livery. Oh, that's very wide in the hairpin, which gives some space to Nopek to make the place. And to try the overtake on the outside he goes, and completes the overtake even before the chicane finishes. So that's 12th place for Nopek, and the next car in front of him is no other than Dan Vaz in a 126 BMW. The Aston Martin defending against Sims, that will be for 5th place in silver class. Very slow lap by Nergard there. He lost some time. Again, now the gap between Senatore and Nergard is 6 seconds. It was 5.6 at the line. So it's clear that Nergard is starting to lose some pace. Seven, 8, 9 is going very slowly there. Ooh, I think something happened there. In fact, you can see Vats passing the Ferrari driver, but something happened there. Let's have a look at it. Goes over the first corner, even the second is okay. Oh, he just loses the rear completely on his own. And then also the place on Vats, who is now in 9th place. As Sims here still struggling to get past Nezazov. Little loss of traction there for Sims, which just gives Zadlowski some time back on his gap to Sims and does off, and then only 4 seconds ahead is Nopek, although it's 4 seconds in 13 minutes, so not really the closest gap in the world. I will advise the viewers to keep an eye on Senatore and Ek in second and third. And also the gap here between Hill and Lammers, that's going to be first and second in class. They were very close for the last minutes. And now they are extremely close to each other, as is the battle for the winning class, and also for 5th and 6th place, so not really bad overall too. Oh, that's the Bentley going a bit over the gravel. As you can clearly see that the chicane is one of the most odd places, and one of the places where the lines are completely different from any driver, since it all depends on how your car is set up, because not all the cars can literally jump the chicane as if it was nothing. more over the gravel for Lammers in 6th place. And also interesting to see that Senatore lost a ton of ground on Nergard, who clearly made a mistake early on. Then the gap is back to 7.5. Well, it was 7.5 on my screen, now it's back to 7, so clearly rotating in a position where the gap isn't read perfectly by the system. Again, the McLaren remains where it is in 5th place. Hill, which in the last races has been very close to the winning class, but every time he had some issues of some kind, this time could be the one where he can finally have the win for himself. And 738 was off. Chris Brown here. Oh, completely missing the chicane there. And getting stopped too on the chicane. I sometimes forget that there is right hand drive. Ooh, there was a clear fault about it on the hairpin prior to the further chicane, but ultimately nothing was completed there. So still here in the chicane, trying to get past the McLaren number 555, again defending the second chicane quite ferociously. Because at this point it's not really useful to battle to maybe get on Garby, although these two were sort of gaining on Garby, but I think even him was slowing down the pace a little. Oh, that's possibly the chance for the Bentley, nearly getting a pit maneuvered by the Bentley. Was Hill defending as hard as possible? There is a contact between the two cars. The Bentley goes for an evasive action there on the chicane, cutting a bit. Was there a contact? There was a contact. You can see from here. Little tap on the rear and consequent evasive action. But it gains massive chunks of time every time it breaks. For now, there hasn't been a drive-through in the last 15 minutes. So likely every driver is slowing down the pace to keep it in the limits. Very likely. As Vats there goes for the move on Forbes, who kindly let him pass. Because he is aiming at getting at least Zactal's place back after the drive-through, who put him from 3rd to initially 11th. 11th, which is now being held by Nopek, who also has been given a drive-through. Now 2.3 seconds away from Kasitarash. So with 5 minutes to go, this battle still goes on. This is the only battle we have on track at the moment. Oh, very close call for Hill, with the rear snapping off quite abruptly in the first chicane into the clean chicane. So all of a sudden, Vats sets the fastest lap of the race so far, 27.5. In race trim conditions. Which was an entire second quicker than Zactal's last lap. And to be fair to everyone else, the only 27 in the entire grid at this moment. The closest lap time is at 28.5, being held by Zactal himself. This time for Lammers to make the pass on Hill in 555 into achieving no chicane. You can see already that the McLaren covers well the rhythm. Meanwhile, there's been a pass there between Nopek and Kasitarash, who went wide and likely to avoid any track limit violations. Simply, oh wait, something else happened, because now Kasitarash, it just lost the rear altogether and also made contact with the wall. Just on the last laps, so he lost both the position on Nopek, and Sedlovsky has now There is still a fight going on here for position between Hill and Lammers. As 30 seconds ago, the last lap has been called, so this is effectively the last possible time for Lammers to make a pass. He has two choices. This was one of those, and definitely didn't pay off. So this is effectively over for the battling class. He tried it all. He tried to cut the chicane as much as possible. Nearly flew over the racetrack. So this is pretty much over, and Nergard is going to cross the line and win the Zolder round. In IFRL, then Senatore goes on to take second place. Eck in third. Garby goes on the final chicane into Jackie Hickbox to be in fourth in the Mustang. Hill wins the race in silver class with Lammers behind in P2. Zachtal follows in 7th place, and Vats gets at the very least the fastest lap of the race, with Forbes following in 3rd place in class, and Nopek approaching the final chicane, bit on the grass, but it's going to be 10th, with Curtin in 11th. Sadlowski in 12th and Kasitarash following in 13th. Sims is now passing the line in 14th, and the last lap on the lead lap is Nerdozov in 15th place. Oh wait, and Jordan still has to finish the race, and here we are with Jordan in 18th place. Then Veldman, Whitburn, Firth, Whitburn again, but the number 5. Karner in 23rd and Thompson in 24th after the early spin in the race. So this was your race in Zolder. The next time it's going to be Suzuka for 90 minutes at the first date in October, so be sure to check it out. And also, reservations are still open for 10-hour Zolder. Anyway, I'm Chris Romano. I was your commentator for tonight, and I will be so for the last round and for the endurance round. In the meantime, be safe, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world, and see you next time. Bye!